I'm Justin Martinez. I'm one of 9 directors on VHS, and it's a horror film that you're all gonna love.
Okay, here's the deal. We gotta break into this house. And all we have to do is steal this one VHS tape.
And the idea is they have been sent to the house to retrieve one particular videotape that they haven't been told much about. They've just been told they'll know it when they find it.
Which one is it?
I don't know, man. Let's just look at these tapes.
What's so special about this tape anyway?
It's an interesting movie. It's not like something you see every day.
It was really important for us to really come up with a good, legitimate reason why everybody's filming themselves. Because that's like one of the biggest challenges of like the found footage thing, is making it real, the fact that they would even be filming themselves in weird situations.
These are directors that we know, trust, have made good things in the past, that we are excited to work with.
I mean, the only real kind of creative mission of VHS was just, you know, try to do something that we haven't seen a million times.
What was that?
You're all gonna die up here.
In my segment, it is about a couple that is on a road trip, trying to get some excitement back in their marriage. And while they're staying in their hotel, a strange person knocks on their door.
I enjoyed this. You're holding a camera.
And it sort of snowballs out of control from there.
Please don't do this.
What?
I just said I didn't want you to record something like this.
Our focus was to make something about really good, average guys that make the right decision and then get punished for that.
We're trapped! Over here! Go!
Our segment is about a character named Emily and her boyfriend James, who are in a long-distance relationship, and it takes place entirely over Skype conversations, and Emily starts to believe there's a ghost.
Emily, what are you doing?
My apartment's haunted.
It's not haunted. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation.
A couple of kids gone up to the woods. They're gonna go for a swim, and one of the girls seems to know a little bit more about the area than she's letting on, and before you know it, the kids are being taken out one by one.
Okay, God!
It's a story about a group of college-age dudes on their final night of spring break who come across a pair of video spy glasses and decide that they want to trick some girls into shooting a porno. And of course things go horribly wrong.
What is going on? Please, what did you see? You're dead! I don't know! She's dead! She's dead.
There's something really cool about how unprecious this movie is, and so when people are clapping and cheering and shouting, it just makes the film more fun to experience, and that was the premiere experience at Sundance. It couldn't have been like more raucous.
You're watching this?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We had a guy pass out. I'd like to believe that it just scared him so much.
Guys, come on!
Our goal was to make something really fun, kind of make like a party movie, like something you want to go and tell your friends, like, go see this, it's fun, go see it with your friends, you know, you guys will jump at the same time.
What are you waiting for?
I think that it's a really fun ride. Prepare to be scared.
I like you.
Did you erase it?
This is David Bruckner encountering his fears.
That one looks fucking scary. The camera's floating again.
This is our camera and it's floating. Dude, watch how big it's getting.
You want to put your face next to this? Your beard's gonna pop that movie.
Dude, that's getting too big. All right, that's enough.
Is it big?
Yeah, that's fucking big, man.
It's not bigger than the big one, is it?
Yeah, but we don't want to go as big as the big one. Are you afraid, David?
Yeah, I'm fucking horrified of this. I hate balloons.
I hate balloons
so much.
I'm so afraid of
I'm
balloons.
terrified of balloons. They're beautiful in the way they terrify me. Ready?
That's pretty cool.
It's like a vortex of love.
What you doing, Raymond?
Oh, I'm tying balloons to a camera right now.
There's a camera in there.
And then the camera will float away, like Winnie the Pooh.
Look of it. Shit, dude. It's gonna haul ass, is what it's gonna do. It's gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary.
All right, we're on the move to another location that is only 25 yards away with more power lines, more danger, more people. All for what, Bruckner? Hey, weren't you telling me a story about arcing electricity and shit? Hey, this is like the worst idea ever.
No, it's not.
As soon as it gets up in the air, we'll be fine. Why don't you go ahead and let it get up in the air? Does anybody want to catch it? When it falls? Is that the control?
That's the control that you're watching roll. Okay, ready? And 1, 2, 3. Go! Okay, wait, let's catch it. What's the problem? Oh, the angle? We bumped it. Let's just go closer to the building. You ready? Yep. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
There's a power line right there.
It's rocking too much, man.
I think rocking is...
Rocking.
What are you doing? What is that?
Watching you.
Film
watching.
that. Film that.
I need to film it. It's already filmed. You cut to it.
Oh God! Help me! Please get me out of here! Please!
I had this idea for a TV series, and the company that Cohen's Bloody Disgusting, The Collective, liked the idea too, and we were talking about maybe turning this into a TV series, and instead it evolved into this movie idea, and we're big fans of Simon and Adam, and Simon was like, I'll write something for you guys based on like the concept we had, and he turned into treatment, and it was amazing. So we went in this really kind of reverse order of making an anthology, and Simon and Adam went off and did theirs first, which is super bizarre. Like usually you should do that last. So it became like this experimental project where we were trying to figure out. It was building the movie as we were going along, as opposed to we knew exactly what we were doing right away. So it was like, it's an interesting project.
We ended up with more great segments than we thought we would initially have. But we were able to take some chances, and everybody's turned out so great that we wanted everybody to be included.
Yeah, it became a little long because of it. We were like, well, because it's an experimental project, we just kind of film stuff and then see what works and what doesn't, and just kind of work with it. And then everything kind of worked. So we were like, okay, now this movie is really, really, really long. We have 8,000 directors, but okay, it's cool.
Yeah, we had a long list of directors and ideas for segments and treatments and things like that, and we made a lot of group decisions on which to include, and we ended up with just more great material than we thought we initially have. So
I think a lot of filmmakers are actually intrigued by found footage. they just won't admit it. And the idea of doing a feature film to a lot of them feels like selling out, doing what's hot and what's cool. To give them like an opportunity to explore this on a smaller scale and not feel threatened in the sense that they're making a big feature and it could fail and then they failed at what's hot. By doing it in short form, it's more of a creative, fun process. It feels like film school, I don't know, as opposed to feeling like something very big and dangerous and with major obligations to studios and stuff. I mean, that was my perspective of it. So they were really receptive. Everyone was like, that's kind of cool. I always had this idea that I thought would work as a short, but not as a feature. So they were like pretty quick to like hop on board and toss us some ideas and stuff like that.
Myself, Brad, Gary, and Roxanne are the other producers, and we would all work together from a hub in Los Angeles, but everybody else was in different parts of the country shooting these. So all the information would come to us, and we'd sort it all out, and we were the central brain of it. But yeah, everybody was separate. So this is the first. This and Sundance are the first 2 times that we've all been able to be in the same room, be together.
These are directors that we know, trust, have made good things in the past, that we are excited to work with, and self-sufficient. So just kind of like, go do your thing. We trust you.
We were struggling with a name for a long time. That was the first one where we just went, wow, that could be it.
What were we calling it? I don't even remember.
We were calling it Tape 56 for a while, which is the title of Adam and Simon's wraparound. But we weren't stuck on that.
Yeah,
we were trying to find something, and VHS was just something that we were like, that's fun, that's catchy.
And at one point we were going to have each of the segments, we're going to have a date. So that's why there's like V/H/S, is it's like, it looks like a date. It didn't happen. In my head it happened.
There's one segment with a date, the Radio Silence is called 10/31/98.
So we talked about going back and asking all the filmmakers to date their movie. But then like, some of the filmmakers were like, well, there's not supposed to be a date, it can be any time. So it was like, oh, there goes the date thing. So that's what the slashes were originally for, but it looks cool.
And also, some of them shot part or all of their segment on VHS. Like Adam shot a good portion of his on VHS, so it was appropriate. It had that we wanted that sort of aged, dirty look that comes with VHS movies.
And the whole idea that some people seem to be missing is that what you're actually watching is a VHS tape. So people go, how did a Skype video end up on how is it on a VHS tape? It's somebody edited together their own mixtape. So I'm not sure if you're aware of CKY videos, but there's like those 90s CKY videos. Someone made a horror tape where they mixed together all these crazy videos that they found and made it. That's why it ends with like this sort of fun, upbeat thing. It's like they made a cool video for people on the internet or whatever. So I mean, that's how it comes all the way back around to VHS.
Adam and I got involved in this project because actually Brad Miska, the editor-in-chief of BloodyDisgusting.com, had helped us out on an earlier film we did called A Horrible Way to Die, which he was a producer on. And when it came time for him to do his own project, a horror anthology that he wanted to do, different found footage styles, he reached out to us first. And so we were kind of there at the early stages, kind of working with him on what his idea of how it would overall be structured and what the finished film would be, whether it would even be a film was discussed at a little bit. So we got involved at an early stage and actually shot the wraparound segment first, and then were able to kind of use that to bring other filmmakers that we were either associated with or admired on board. We didn't know if it was going to be a film because it could have been a TV show or something that we were just going to put on the internet. We just weren't quite sure how the story should be told. And then more and more, I became attracted to the idea of doing kind of this new school stylized filmmaking in a very old-fashioned way, like a very old-fashioned horror anthology with like a wraparound segment linking everything that actually like is kind of thematically involved with how the shorts are shot. And doing something more like the old Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror style productions, and that's when we really kind of started working on what we ended up shooting.
Basically, our story is just a bunch of hoodlums filming themselves on a crime spree, and they end up essentially in kind of a haunted house, and that's kind of just like the simple premise to it. We wanted to just do something that Well, I guess like really like for the whole project itself, it was really important for us to all to really come up with a good legitimate reason why everybody's filming themselves doing all the whatever they're doing in the film, you know, and because that's like one of the biggest challenges of like, you know, the found footage thing is making it real, the fact that they would even be filming themselves in weird situations, you know. So for ours, you know, the crime spree thing was like a great way to just like put the camera in these characters' hands and just let them go with it, you know. These guys are just like, you know, scummy hoodlums who don't really know how to work a camera and they don't know what a good camera is, and so you know, we kind of went at it with the idea that these guys just stole all of their equipment, and it really like opened the door to have fun with playing with like the technology that they're using, how it's all like, it's really inferior technology, you know, it's like the, you know, they're actually using VHS cameras. We actually shot it on that real VHS cameras, and so like we're really playing with like the glitchiness and like all the problems that those that older technology have, and that was kind of fun going into it and being able to explore that, you know, which that's the coolest thing about found footage stuff is that you know, you're constantly trying to find a new way to bring a subgenre to life, be it like a zombie movie, a slasher film, a ghost movie. But what found footage does is that it allows a new perspective, you know, for that, you know, a new perspective from the audience that's very modern, you know, because we're also used to YouTube videos and this and that, you know, and so I think it makes like these fantastical situations more real for people. So that's what's kind of cool about this whole project is that you see so many different versions of that, and each ones are so unique.
I mean, the idea is they have been sent to the house to retrieve one particular videotape that they haven't been told much about. They've just been told they'll know it when they find it, and of course they don't, which is what leads them to start watching the tapes, which is how we decide to structure the film. The idea, of course, is with the way we set it up with them doing the sharking videos and smashing stuff at the beginning is, you know, it's not that clear how much they were really hard to find a tape and how much they were hard because they would create one, which again goes back to, you know, what Adam was saying, which is, you know, the idea of really motivating why people are filming themselves and why we're actually seeing, you know, people film themselves experiencing scary things, which obviously is pretty questionable in most found footage films because at a certain point, you know, they address the absurdity of like, why are you still filming this? And you know, and obviously it's a creative challenge to come up with why people would film themselves experiencing something, you know, dangerous or scary. And you know, I mean, that's something I feel like all the filmmakers involved in the project really responded to and were able to come up with something really cool and creative.
In my segment, it is about a couple that is on a road trip, trying to get some excitement back in their marriage. And while they're staying in their hotel, a strange person knocks on their door, and it sort of snowballs out of control from there. Sort of paranoia-driven suspense segment. Things do get dark, whether the characters like it or not. So yeah, by the end, they're definitely in over their heads. And I think when I thought of the idea for this segment, it wasn't like I had an idea and I truncated it down. I was always doing something based on being about 20 minutes long. So I think it's case by case specific, I suppose. So you plan for it and hope for the best. I wasn't initially interested. It was when I found out who else they were talking to and who else wanted to do it. And also what really kind of interested me was, I guess, the creative freedom, for lack of a better term, is that I knew that I had these parameters of what I was kind of had to work in. But other than that, I could do whatever I wanted. So I sort of pitched the idea. If they liked the idea, I got to cast the people I wanted, who were great actors and also friends of mine. And we went to Arizona and got to sort of like make this. I mean, in a way, it felt like we were making kind of this experimental film, even though we weren't. We were making a very kind of specific narrative story. But it essentially was so small. It was just like 4 of us, you know, out in Arizona on a road trip, making it while we were on the road trip. There was something kind of fun about that, and it made the experience unique. Well, I think all the other filmmakers on this, I know. I've known Glenn, I've known Joe, I've known Adam and Simon, I've known... I got to know David doing this, but I knew of him before that. And, you know, I think that was a big part of it. If it was people I didn't know, I probably would have been more reluctant. But I like them, and I was interested to see what they would do. Well, so far it's great. I mean, we've only had one festival so far. We're about to have another one. It's here tonight at South by Southwest. But yeah, I mean, it couldn't have gone better, I don't think. I think it's a very accessible movie, and I think it's you know, for much of us, I think we're not a huge fan of the found footage kind of trend that's going on now, but I think we went out of our way to put a spin on it that didn't feel like the same, or it felt warranted. And you know, I hopefully audiences can appreciate that.
We are two of the team Radio Silence. There are 4 of us total, and we made the last segment of VHS. I believe it's 10/31/98. Brad Miska, one of the producers, came to us I think fairly late in the process of actually creating the film in its entirety, and they wanted an action film, and Brad was familiar with our work from some stuff we'd made in the past, and knew that we were sort of capable of pulling off the really fast, kind of fun, like action comedy stuff, and wanted us to sort of put a bit of like a genre layer on that somewhere, and it was really fun. It was an idea that we'd been sort of rolling around in our heads for a while, even before we were, you know, in touch with Brad Miska, and this was like the perfect fit to tell that story.
They told us to make something between, I think it was 12 and 25 minutes. They wanted us to do action. They said the blood can't be fake, well, can't be a CG, and that was about it, right? I mean,
yeah, they were just the sky's the limit. I mean, they were so supportive creatively. There were no rules. They just wanted to, which is what's so fun about the film. I mean, every project does feel like it's a bit of an experiment, and I think it feels that way because they weren't afraid to just let us do what we love to do. And so the rules were I think the funniest one is no CG blood.
Yeah.
Our
that was really the only harder rule. Everything else was like flexible.
And of course, our visual effects guy, Justin, immediately says, well, I'm only going to do CG blood. I'm going to convince them that my CG is good enough that whatever is fake is actually photoreal. But I don't think we ended up really using any blood in our piece.
We had like the germ of an idea that we've been kicking around for a long time. I think much more in kind of the comedy take on it originally.
Right.
And then we kind of just shifted that much more horror. So we had the idea for a while. It really synthesized once we started doing this.
We had the comedy idea so specifically kind of played out in our minds, and adding that extra element of horror made it really fun for us to then go and create the project. It felt totally fresh and totally new, and was something that, you know, it was a challenge for us as well.
It's about a couple guys going to a Halloween party that they get the wrong address, and then it turns out to be a very real haunted house. It's kind of the gist of it.
Our focus was to make something about really good average guys that make the right decision and then get punished for that, unfortunately. We like really wanted to play with like the sort of morality and the twist of, you know, these guys really trying to do the right thing and it not working out for them.
Our look is like a high 8 Sony. It was from a camera that I had in the mid-90s. So we shot it all HD and then sent it to an analog tape and then sent it back into the computer, and that's where the trouble, I mean, I don't know, we spent like the better part of a week just trying to get it to go back into the computer.
But like, what a fun style. I mean, to get to make something look so terrible and know while you're making it that the worse it looks, the better it looks. You know, the closer you are to your goal visually, the worse that the project.
Yeah, because ours just didn't work that well when we watched it. Not having gone through the process of analog, it just felt kind of
just like missing an authenticity that the second it looked like crap, it finally like had a very clear identity and finally felt original and felt real too. I think was a big thing.
Ours is set in 1998, by the way. Right. It's timepiece, period piece.
I mean, that was a fun part of the experiment for all of the filmmakers. I think was figuring out. I mean, I know that Adam Wingard and Simon shot the wraparound using 4 or 5 different cameras. 9. Some of the footage on VHS, some of it on, you know, iPhones, and some of it on, you know, the new Canon technology that, you know, everyone is shooting on now. And I think that was a really fun experiment for us as filmmakers to decide what the format was and kind of how to make it work into this like anthology found footage idea that Brad Miska had.
We talked to a lot of the other guys. Everybody's really nervous that first night because it's an interesting movie. It's not like something you see every day, and it was kind of like, oh, what is the reaction going to be? And people like loved it. And it was great.
And it was great. Yeah, the midnight screenings are so much fun too. I think that
rowdy.
That venue, and that time attracts a really specific moviegoer, and they show up to have fun and to really interact with the film. And I think that there's something really cool about how unprecious this movie is, and so when people are clapping and cheering and shouting, it just makes the film more fun to experience. And that was the premiere experience at Sundance. It couldn't have been like more raucous and more awesome. I think Walking in Blind is actually kind of the most fun.
I don't know what you would really tell anyone.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean. Yeah,
other than to to just like prepare to be scared and I think be surprised. I think that there's that every film feels really fresh and new within this project, and I think that it's a really fun ride.
I'm Glenn McQuaid, and I directed the third story within the anthology, which is called Tuesday the 17th, and the title was sort of a play on Friday the 13th. When I got the invite from Brad and Roxanne Benjamin to submit a sort of a slasher segment for the feature, and I guess some of the slasher films that I'm most inspired by are some of the kind of the goofier like 1980s kind of slasher movies like The Burning, and one in particular was Friday the 13th Part 6. It seemed to balance humor and horror in a fairly kind of naive way, very non-ironic kind of way. So the challenge I set out for myself with my segment was to have fun with that kind of goofier slasher style and see if I could insert that into a found footage kind of, more realistic kind of mandate. So a couple of kids gone up to the woods. They're going to go for a swim, and one of the girls seems to know a little bit more about the area than she's letting on, and before you know it, the shit's hitting the fan, and the kids are being taken out one by one. One of the ideas for the pieces was, what did this killer look like? And I'm a big fan of Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, all very iconic characters. And so when I set out to design the killer, I went through a lot of different kind of ideas and sketches. And originally there was a thought that you would actually just see him and he would be this kind of iconic lunatic. But eventually I kind of thought it was more interesting to pull that rug from the audience a little bit and not show him or hint at his presence without sort of painting the picture of what he truly looks like. So for a lot of the piece, there's this ambiguity, are the kids actually seeing him? Are they just seeing him through the monitor on their own camera? So it's kind of playing with the idea that yes, there's something there, but are the audience seeing more than the kids are? It was interesting. I do love the idea of static on screen and just messing up an image, and I did the piece before I knew it was going to be called VHS, and I kind of went the other route with the noise. It was a very digital effect that we went for. I love watching satellite TV when suddenly the image will freeze and an echo of the previous shot will remain. It's just this really odd, modern noise graphic. So that kind of style, as opposed to kind of 80s tracking line noise, was the kind of inspiration. After making the piece, I'm watching TV and suddenly you're getting these crazy lines, and it's kind of interesting to pick up on that again.
Amateur Night is it's definitely a movie from, it's kind of about the male gaze, but it's a story about a group of college-age dudes on their final night of spring break who come across a pair of video spyglasses and decide that they want to trick some girls into shooting a porno. And of course things go horribly wrong. And we like to joke that they go out looking for girls and instead they find a woman. So they're not the only sexual predators out there, and there's some comeuppance. To my knowledge, there was no communication between the filmmakers. So getting to see the film premiere at Sundance and getting to see all the segments and going, wow, it's almost like it's almost like, you know, we were throwing props to one another. It's like there's a stairwell here and then there's a stairwell event there. And also, you know, there's many reoccurring themes. There's a lot of this kind of exploring the male gaze and how that goes terribly wrong and how that applies to this video technology and how we're using it. So.
Our segment is about a character named Emily and her boyfriend James, who are in a long-distance relationship, and it takes place entirely over Skype conversations, and Emily starts to believe there is a ghost in her apartment.
It was a short filmed actually without cameras, directly to laptops. We shot the entire thing just using the actual cameras and recording the actors in different rooms of a house, actually interacting with each other using just various kind of web chat interfaces. So it is a camera-free production. Which,
well, we spent about a week too trying to figure out, because the way Simon wrote the script, it was taking place over these Skype conversations, and there was a lot of back and forth, like how do we film, how do we either have the actors wear little earpieces so they can hear each other, but they're both holding 70 cameras or something. How do we simulate the laptop feel? How do we... So I was doing all these tests and trying out all these different things, and then I was like, maybe we can just find screen capture software and actually shoot it on laptops, which ended up being the simplest, best solution.
Yeah, there was an early stage where we were talking about like
we're gonna build rigs.
We were gonna drill cameras onto like 2x4s so that it would seem like they were carrying around laptops, and then we were still very concerned about recording sound. How do they actually interact and respond to each other?
Right, and how do they look at each other? How do they, as actors, how do they play off of each other if they can't see each other? Well, okay, so maybe we have the 2x4. Maybe we put the camera on it. Maybe we have to put a monitor next to it so they can see the other person. Wait, is that wireless? Do we have to run wires from room to room?
And how can they hear each other so that we're not hearing that, like the other person when we're recording one of them? Like, and then it was just like, oh, like
why don't we just shoot it?
Joe just found a screen capture thing that recorded in in HD format, and we just did it. So they just are actually like far enough apart that you can't hear them in each other's spaces, actually having a web chat conversation. So and so we ended up not using any cameras at all.
The VHS movie that you're watching is new, and the wraparound segment of these guys breaking into this house to find this VHS tape took place 6 months ago, right? It's new, and they happen to be shooting on an old VHS camera, but it's taking place in modern times. So the Skype conversation, my segment within the movie, was recorded on Skype and then laid off to a VHS tape. And Simon had the idea, which I heard you say in Q&A, that...
Which I might have had at that moment.
These tapes, the sort of idea is that these tapes are being traded amongst collectors who are interested in really sick, disgusting sort of things. And rather than this stuff be on the internet where it could potentially leak out or things could be traced back to each other, it's all transferred to VHS, all to old analog tapes. It's all offline. So the Skype conversation, somebody got a hold of the digital file and then put it on a VHS as it entered this network of collectors.
Yeah, the collectors collect them on VHS to keep them offline, and also these are guys that are obsessed with finding like true evidence of the supernatural, true like sinister occurrences on and they don't want it to be in a digital format. Obviously that doesn't totally make sense because you can put analog stuff, but also the idea that having it in an analog format itself was part of like an overall kind of like the way it affected you, part of the ritual, that it couldn't just be like ones and zeros. It had to be like actual magnetic tape reacting to the magnetic field of your body, and we'll get maybe into that supernatural mythology more someday because I admit it is not really present in the film in its current form. But you don't want to bog people down with a lot of ideas. And
as the person involved with this movie that has the least horror experience and the least sort of association with the horror world, I'm totally hooked on horror now. I think VHS is a great concept. I think it could easily be a fun series of movies, and just in general, I think found footage horror is really fun to do.
But I'd love to work with this team again. I'd love to work with Adam and Joe and Brad and everyone again. So if Joe's in, I'm in. I think we would. At this point, VHS has been successful enough, and enough people seem to be really responding to it that definitely I think everyone is talking about, taking some of the ideas in the film further in various ways, extrapolating on them and so on. But, we've only been successful for like a couple of days, so we're still kind of getting used to it. But I mean, I think all of us would like to to explore this further, and I think all of us would like to work together again. I really personally like everyone involved in this project, so I think that's attractive as well. In terms of a straight up sequel, there'd be some challenges, but I think they, just like the challenges of VHS, I think they'd be interesting and exciting ones to work with. So
I didn't know quite what to expect. I saw the movie at Sundance for the first time. Because there's a lot of different directors in different segments, like everybody was kind of working on their own thing. So actually sitting there with an audience watching it for the first time, I got to kind of experience it in that way. And I think the thing that was the most fun and surprising to me was that when the movie ends and the credits roll, I kind of walked out of the theater feeling really good. I think it's the first horror movie that I've ever seen where as it ended I was like, yeah, let's go dance and hang out. Partly because Simon found a really awesome end credits song that I think sort of sets the mood. But I would hope audiences would come, have a really nerve-wracking, terrifying experience, and then somehow leave feeling really great, ready to go hang out with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, it was important to us. Actually, if you look at all their found footage horror films, they all end on these very dark, serious moments for the most part. Like the camera falls down, cuts to black, and then there's a scroll saying that their bodies were never found. We really wanted to make sure, and I don't want to give anything away, but we wanted to make sure that VHS ended on a high note, and like Joe said, left people feeling like amused and entertained, and like they'd had a fun time. I mean, that was, I think, part of what we were trying to do different in approaching found footage horror. So we, there's music, and the last segment that we end on, the segment that Radio Silence did. I mean, Adam and I talked a lot with the producers about what order the segment should be in, and when we saw how Radio Silence ended theirs, we were like, that's the ending of the movie, because it ends on such a fun, impactful moment that because originally our wraparound was supposed to end the movie, and we just felt like they left it on a higher note, so we switched a couple things around, and hopefully people will respond to it.
It's a party movie.
It is a party movie. I like making party movies. I want to always. That's kind of what I want to make. I think that's the best way to sum it up. Like what I want to do artistically.
Simon Barrett, where are you right now?
I am in Seoul, Korea, where we are prepping our next project following VHS.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about VHS for a second. I, Joe Swanberg, happen to think that the character of Emily that you wrote for the segment, The Sixth Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger, is one of the most exciting characters that I've seen in a horror movie, because she seems sort of fearless and sort of naive in a really fun way that kind of allows her to barge into these situations. Where did you get an idea for that kind of character?
I think it was more just that I knew we were going to be collaborating on this one, and I wanted to write someone who felt real in a way that was kind of funny and entertaining to me. You always see people in the haunted houses be kind of like, and you're like, why don't they leave? And I wanted someone who was a little more like, okay, I've seen those movies. I know, the ghost just wants me to find its body or discover who its murderer is, and it's going to be, some scary scene in the rain. So let's just get on with it then.
Yeah.
And of course, it turns out to be a different situation than that.
By having a character who actually wants to communicate with the ghost, you still get the haunted house movie, and then there's none of this kind of questioning going on from the audience, I think.
I like the idea of writing horror movies where the characters are braver than myself, because I feel like it's scarier and it's also more compelling. Because Emily has such a good ethic about her haunting, you really feel for her. It's a haunting, and I need to make the best of the situation. I find that really sympathetic. Normally when you're working with a young female protagonist in a horror movie, they're written, kind of as these weird ciphers. They're not really very real people, and they tend to scream a lot and run around a lot. And so this was just a new way of trying to avoid that. And and I knew we didn't have much time. It was a short, and we wanted it to be one of the shortest, because at that time, the VHS feature was coming together, and we were kind of starting to get an idea of what our running time was going to be. So it was more just like how do we kind of get on with it?
What was it like, sort of writing a script that you thought was going to be thrown away and then ended up being a pretty literal version of the finished project?
It was funny because I hammered out, I wrote Emily very quickly. It was written from 1 to 3 in the morning one night, when I was just kind of okay, we got to finish this VHS movie. I got to write, I'll write something for Joe. And I literally did spend almost no time on the dialogue, because I was like, Joe's just going to work with the actors and they're going to come up with something better. And then I sent it to you and you're like, No, I think as an experiment, you're like, I really like this. I think as an experiment, I'm going to do the lines verbatim. And I was like, okay, well then that's not a finished draft. Don't show that to anyone. And I went back and I tried to make give the dialogue a real rhythm. That said, I do think Helen and Daniel brought a lot to the lines and to the characters that wasn't in the script. I mean, when they went off script, it was always an improvement. Even just and kind of the rhythm of the lines. They brought a lot to that. They worked really well together.
I mean, I think you're a good dialogue writer, and I think we ended up with a nice mix because we had Helen, who's a trained actor, sort of really working from that, and then we had Daniel, who's not a trained actor. The finished version of the short is somewhere in the middle, I would say.
Yeah, and I kind of think that's like the best way to work. Oddly, I mean, when you're doing found footage, and we talked about this a bunch, like obviously it makes sense to have improv works really well for found footage because you get that realistic, spontaneous feel. But at the same time, a lot of people who do improv, the scenes can tend to go on too long or get lost in something, or people are kind of trying to figure it out on the first 10 takes. So I mean, I do think it's good to have it to work. I like the way we work, where we have a script that everyone agrees, could be done as written, but let's see if we can improve it.
What was nice about it is I think we both agree that at the end of the day, the performance is the thing that matters. And whichever route you end up taking, as long as you land on something that feels good and real, that's where we want to be.
Yeah, and we can talk about how I wrote Helen, the character of Emily, in this unique way, but it's really Helen's kind of oddly disaffected but totally believable performance. I mean, she sells those little kind of half ironic moments extremely well, which is not, you just have to get a group of people that are kind of in tune with that sort of humor. And when you're doing a horror movie, I always love seeing VHS with an audience because people find her and Daniel's banter I think a lot funnier than we'd even planned it to be. I mean, we're trying to be funny, but audiences really respond to the fact that we're working with these haunted house cliches with these two people that are just like, that's scary. which I feel like is what I would say in those moments.
Well, you end up with a great switcheroo too, because for I would say 90% of the movie, the audience is Daniel. We're identifying with him, sort of feeling like this girl's a little off of her rocker, and then it's a great. You sort of pull the rug out from under, and she ends up being the one that hopefully the audience identifies with in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone's been in a relationship where they're like where they feel like the other person's making them insane. And I like the idea of doing something kind of literal with that. Initially, my whole concept of this was codependency horror, to use the metaphor of a functional but ultimately destructive relationship, for a ghost story. And I love the idea that he's literally making her crazy and manipulating her in this way. They have very strong feelings for each other, and there's a lot to explore. So that's spoiler territory, I guess. But yeah, I guess no one's watching this who hasn't seen the movie. hopefully more than once.
Right. So. All right. Cool, man. Well,
all right, is that it?
Yeah. Thanks for the insight. Just scoot over to your right a little bit. I want to make sure that I don't block you with my window. Okay, right there. Perfect. Hey, Helen.
Joe.
The first time I met you was just like this.
That's true.
On Skype.
Right here.
Had I already cast you in the movie, or was I?
You just wanted to make sure.
You already had the part. I just wanted to talk to you for a second. Okay, so tell me about reading the script for Emily for the first time. What did you think about the character?
I really liked the character. I think she's spunky. I think that she has a certain sense of fearlessness that develops these obstacles for herself, because she dives into these situations that I wouldn't if I was thinking logically. But her thought process is so different from mine. She ends up on a lot of adventures, I think.
Do you believe in ghosts or aliens? Are you do you relate to her in that way?
Well, I don't overtly believe in ghosts, but I remember as old as when I was in high school, I went to this boarding school that was on top of this Native American burial site, and one of my best friends saw this woman walking through our hallways on different occasions, on several different occasions, and I didn't totally not believe her. I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about aliens? The movie actually ends up being about aliens.
That's true.
Do you believe in aliens?
I think it's really plausible that there's life outside of Earth. I don't know if they want to come and use my body to farm more aliens for themselves.
Right.
So that might be a fear that we have. But I don't see why not, because I don't know enough about it. But, yeah, there could be like an ET somewhere in the world, I think.
Right. How was acting via Skype?
It was really fun because there are all these sort of impediments that Skype introduces when you're interacting with someone. Like there's a delay, and sometimes like their camera freezes, and also you're not ever looking at someone straight in the eyes.
Right.
So those were all things that informed our dynamic, I think, between me and Daniel. That it was just fun to have more to work with, more obstacles to work with as an actor.
Yeah, and you basically ended up being the camera operator for the movie. Were you nervous about acting and operating camera?
I think that especially with this setup of iChat or Skype, we as a culture right now are like we're all camera operators. Like I'm operating the camera right now, talking to you. So it's sort of this like amateur level of skill that we like all have. I think. So I don't think it was too distracting. It was pretty.
Did you relate to the long distance relationship aspect of the movie? Is Skype something that's part of your personal life?
I have been in a long distance relationship, and Skype does introduce a really interesting layer of closeness when you're far away from someone. And it's not something I've experienced with any other like form of communication, that you feel like it's sort of this mirage of the person, and you feel like they're right there, but then the tragedy is that you like can't touch them, they're not actually there with you.
Right.
So that I think is a really specific quality that only like this kind of internet chatting has, and I was interested in exploring that.
What do you think of horror movies? Are you somebody who's been like a horror movie fan your whole life, or is this project kind of your introduction to that?
This project is definitely my introduction to horror movies. I'm definitely more interested in them now. I'm not very well versed, but I'm like more excited about the journey that they can take that the audience can go on in a horror film.
Yeah.
How exciting it is. I think it's interesting that I heard once that the chemical that's released during horror movies when you get scared is like a similar chemical to happiness. Just the adrenaline that it produces, and I think that's a really interesting way to make a movie and to watch a movie.
Are you a thrill seeker in general? Do you ride roller coasters or skydive or anything like that?
Not really a thrill seeker. Sometimes I end up doing sort of risky things for parts that I have or projects that I'm doing. So I feel like sometimes that's sort of my way of taking risks, is making it happen in my work.
Yeah.
But I'm not really. I'm sort of a boring person, I think, in general, outside of that.
One of the things that's funny for me is the sort of disparity between the finished product of a horror movie and then the actual making of the horror movie, which isn't very scary at all.
Right.
It's more of a technical exercise. Can you talk a little bit about that, like watching the finished product at Sundance with an audience versus like actually shooting it?
Yeah, I remember there was one moment, the first moment where the alien shuts the door behind me, that I actually was scared on set. Just because it was set up in a way that I didn't know when it was going to happen. But yeah, there was a lot of really technical, really specific choreography and blocking, because you took these long takes, and so we had to be really specific physically what we were doing. So I was mostly thinking about that technicality more than feeling scared of the kid actors that were in the space with us. So watching it with an audience who didn't experience that first process and just saw the final product and actually had reactions and was scared of it, I think enhanced my experience. I think I was scared with the audience. I was scared. I don't know if I would have been if I'd seen it alone on my laptop.
So a lot of people, this is the first time they've seen you is in this movie. and you're obviously a bright young star. You're very talented. You have a big future. Are there any horror movies in your future? Are you any stage work in your future? What area of acting are you most excited to pursue?
Right now, I'm writing a script with a friend of mine who I co-wrote a script with a few years ago. But we're just writing the script right now. We're not thinking about money or anything, so I have no idea how we're gonna make it. But so right now, it's just sort of like purely creative, and that it's kind of a really nice, relaxed, open feeling.
Great.
Something like that in that stage.
Well, it was great working with you on this movie. We've worked together since then. Hopefully we'll work together again soon.
I hope so.
Anything else you want to say?
No, it was great working with you too, Joe.
Oh.
On your first horror movie.
Oh. All right, cool. Talk to you later.
Oh, God. Holy shit! What the fuck? Where'd she go? Fuck! Where the fuck did she go?
Dude, what the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck, man?
Jesus! Fuck!
What the fuck does she want?
Just cause, dude.
What the
fuck? Out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Unlock the doors, Chad.
Open the door.
Start the car, Chad. Open the door! Come on!
Dude, so close.
You almost fucked that up, dude. Dude, I was hitting the window down button. Whoa! My car! Wow, crazy night.
You know what? I know where. I was looking at the map. I know where we are. I can get us home. Don't worry. There's a bus stop right up here.
Up there on the left?
Yeah, up there on the left. Sorry, guys.
Hey.
That was a hell of a Halloween, though.
Good night.
Hell of a night.
That's fun. Good night. Actually, that party was not bad.
I think I left my sunglasses there, though.
Oh, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bummer.
Oh, my helmet was in the car. Oh, shit.
Oh, it's way zoomed in.
Is it clean now?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, what up, inter-nerds, jocks, dudes, dudettes? It's me, Joey Brenner, with another update on my so-called life.
Hey, do you think Samantha's feeling me at all? Because I keep getting all these weird mixed
Oh,
signals.
yeah, totally.
Oh, seriously?
No, numbnuts? Now, if you're watching any of this, it means two things. One, you have my passcode. Don't give that shit out to anybody, okay? My parents would kill me if they heard half this shit. And two, you have absolutely no life.
Fuck you! My mom's actually very much alive, and she's cooking me spaghetti meatballs right now, and y'all can't have any. So suck on that. Yeah.
After months of asking her out and getting shut down in spectacular fashion every single time, the new girl in school has actually gone and asked me out.
You are truly disgusting, Brenner.
It's the great outdoors, Spider.
Yeah, with plenty of trees to go behind. Don't get that shit on me.
I was right. 2 inches. The Irish curse.
Yeah, you should see it when it's not hard, baby.
Hello, are you gonna help a girl?
Her name's Wendy Jacobs. She kind of keeps to herself, but I guess she's finally warming up to yours truly. Get this. She asked me to go for a hike out to her favorite lake. Just the two of us. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, she wants me to bring my video camera.
Hey, Samantha. If a cheerleader, like, falls on her titties in the woods or something, and, like, no one's around to hear it, does she, like, even make a sound?
Stay tuned. This should get interesting.
Don't open it. We're outside.
We're outside. I was just about
Oh.
to say that's bad luck, but we're outside.
Wow.
That is fucking original. Wait, I gotta get the beaver sighting. This is a classic.
I gotta get out.
You guys, I really need to take a shit.
I think Samantha's starting to malfunction.
It's a 2mm acrylic cherry breeze.
What the
fucking airbrushed palm tree on it. This fucker's worth like $40. Score!